thank you very much, everybody. The folks behind me got us right over the top from North Dakota. So North Dakota made a big statement, and I just really appreciate it. We will not forget it. Thank you very much. I want to thank a very good friend of mine, Harold Ham. I guess we can consider Harold the king of energy. There's nobody like him. I'll tell you, he knows more about it than anybody that I know. So, Harold, I want to thank you for your support. You've been amazing right from the beginning. My friend for a long time. And I've been on the cover of every magazine. I think he's had as many covers as I have, maybe more, Harold, right? So congratulations, and thank you very much for your support. Okay, folks. Yes, John?
President Obama today at the G7 summit in Japan ignored the time-honored tradition of politics ends at the water's edge. Take a real swing. The world leaders were rattled about the prospect of you becoming president.
That's good. Is that right? That's good. I love that word. He used the bad word because he knows nothing about business. When you rattle someone, that's good, because many of the world, as you know, many of the countries in our world, a beautiful world, have been absolutely abusing us and taking advantage of us. So if they're rattled in a friendly way, we're going to have great relationships with these countries. But if they're rattled in a friendly way, that's a good thing, John, not a bad thing.
But he also went on to say, sir, that you are showing ignorance of world affairs, a cavalier attitude, that you're more interested in tweets and headlines than thinking about what's required to keep America safe. And I'm wondering if you'd like to respond to that.
Well, look, he's a president who's done a horrible job. Everybody understands that. He's a president who's allowed many of these countries to totally take advantage of him, and us, unfortunately. And he's got to say something. And it's unusual that every time he has a press conference, he's talking about me. So, it's just one of those things. But I will say this. He is a man who shouldn't be really, airing his difficulties, and he shouldn't be airing what he's airing where he is right now. And I think that you're going to see it stop pretty soon. He has not done a good job. Today we're giving a big speech on energy. We're going to see some amazing things happen with our country on energy, and I look forward to doing it. But President Obama, you see what's happened. You see where we're going. We're a divided country. We have tremendous difficulty, tremendous problems, and we're going to solve those problems. We're going to solve them fast, okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Your campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, told the Huffington Post that as you're building your VP list, it's probably unlikely that there would be a woman or a minority in that mix, because that would be pandering. It's something that you do not want to do. Can you respond to that?
No, I think it's likely that we would have somebody, but we don't do it for any specific reason. We're looking for absolute competence. I fully expect that we will have many women involved with not only, I've had it with the campaign, but we're going to have many women involved, and I think that you're going to see that, and you're going to see that very strongly. So I look forward to it, and I know he was misquoted a couple of times. He's been misquoted actually a lot, but we're going to have women involved at the absolute highest levels. Jeremy, go ahead.
Mr. Trump, during the Republican primary, you repeatedly attacked your opponents for being funded by big donors, big money donors. You started now fundraising, doing some really big-ticket fundraisers. How do you convince your supporters that you're not going to become the puppet that you accuse your opponents of being?
Well, I'm no puppet, and I'll tell you, I'm raising the money for the party, largely for the party. And we intend to raise a lot of money for the party. I have no idea how much, but we're raising it for senators, for congressmen, congresswomen. We're raising it for a lot of the people that are running. We want to go in. We want to have majorities. It's very important. We have a tremendous staff of people. We raised last night, actually, in Los Angeles, we raised a lot of money for the party. And this is money that's going into the RNC. And we are going to have, I think, we're getting thanked all over by the Republican senators, by congressmen. And hopefully we're going to raise a lot of money. But this is money that's being raised for the party. And I think we're going to have a tremendous success. I'm also continuing to fund big portions of my campaign. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Manafort was also quoted as saying that if you did release your taxes, he wouldn't advise it because it would just serve to help your adversaries. You seem to sound as if you're not going to release your taxes.
No, I'm releasing when we're finished with the audit. I have to say the IRS has been very professional, and they continue to be very professional. And when they finish, I've been audited, however, for 15 years. And I don't know of very many people that have been audited for 15 years. I'm audited all the time, so I don't know what that's all about. But the IRS has been very professional. And as we move along, as soon as that's finished, whenever that may be, and hopefully it's going to be before the election, I'm fine with that. Okay?
Just to be very specific on this, you do pay some federal taxes.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yes. David, go ahead.
Mr. Trump, in the wake of yesterday, Inspector General report from the State Department about Hillary Clinton's emails, you've said that you have doubts about whether or not she could stay in the race against you. But are you prepared right now to actually call on her to get out of the race so that Americans can have more confidence in the integrity of their frontrunner?
Actually, I sort of like her in the race. I want to run against her. Look, she has bad judgment. This was all bad judgment. Probably illegal. We'll have to find out what the FBI says about it. But certainly it was bad judgment. I just read the report. It's devastating, the report. It's devastating. And there's no reason for it. It's just, skirting on the edge all the time. And you look back at her history, and this is her history. It's a very, very harsh report, done really by Democrats, if you think of it, appointed by Obama and done by Democrats. So it's shocking to see it. It's shocking to see what she did. And really, more than anything else, it's bad judgment. But that's going to be up to her whether or not she wants to continue running. Yes, go ahead.
You talk a lot about United. You're working right now to unite the Republican
Right.
Party. But I know this week you were in New Mexico, for instance. You went after the governor there. Does this clinching this number now, does this change your approach at all?
Well, I think it will. I haven't yet. I think I will probably, but I haven't had the support of the governor of New Mexico. She was opposed. She was on somebody else's side, which is fine. I mean, that's everybody's right. I imagine she'll come over to my side. If you look at what's happened, tremendous support from all over the country. Senators, congressmen. We have governors all over the place, and vast majorities. And I think the approval now is up to over 90%. That's tremendous from where I started. A little while ago it was like 62%. But I won the elections in landslides. Very important to say. I mean, you look at these elections. We go to New York. We win almost 62% of the vote with 3 people running. We then go to Pennsylvania, which is going to be, I think, a state that we're going to do amazingly well. Hillary Clinton wants to put the coal miners out of business. They want to put the steel mills out of business. I think I'm going to win Pennsylvania easily. We have tremendous support there. Maryland, Connecticut. We win Delaware, Rhode Island. And then we win, as you know, I mean, we had a tremendous success when we went to Indiana. That was incredible. Bobby Knight helped, in all fairness. But Indiana, we're going to win Indiana, I think, very big. So we're going to have tremendous successes. But, the thing I think I'm most proud of, not the fact that I'm watching Hillary instead of Hillary watching me. We were supposed to be going into July, and a lot of people said it wouldn't even be solved during that convention. There's going to be a new convention in August. And here I am watching Hillary fight, and she can't close the deal. And that should be such an easy deal to close. But she's unable to close the deal. So I'm watching her, and we'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Sure. Yes. I'm going to have to look at it individually, and I will be doing that. A number of people have asked me. I will be doing that. Okay? Thank you. Yeah. Katie?
What is your message to Republicans that haven't yet supported you? People like Susanna Martinez. Do you have something to say to her directly?
No. My message is that we've had tremendous support from almost everybody. And even if you look at Congress, I mean, the support has been incredible. And I spoke with Paul Ryan last night. We had a very good conversation. That's moving along. He's a good man. And we'll see how that all works out. No, we had a very good talk.
One other question. Also in that Huffington Post article where...
I don't read the Huffington Post. Was there an article in the Huffington Post? Well, I'm sure he was misquoted because it is true. I didn't think they covered politics, the Huffington Post. Do they cover politics? All right. Well, we're going to look at a lot of different things, but we have a big problem. We have a radical Islamic terrorism problem. It's a worldwide problem, not just this country, and we have to find a solution. And we have to be vigilant, and we have to be tough and smart. We'll see what happens. Yes, go ahead. Oh, I'd love to debate Bernie. He's a dream. Well, I said last night on Jimmy's show, question that was posed. And I said, I'd love to debate them, but I want a lot of money to be put up for charity. So what we'll do is if we can raise for maybe women's health issues or something, if we can raise $10 or $15 million for charity, which would be a very appropriate amount. I understand the television business very well. I think it would get very high ratings. It should be in a big arena somewhere, and we could have a lot of fun with it. I'd love to debate Bernie, actually. I mean, the problem with debating Bernie, he's going to lose. Because, honestly, his system is rigged, just like our system's rigged. Look, if I didn't win by massive majorities, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today. I mean, I knocked out every opponent. When you have to knock out. And Bernie, unfortunately, hasn't been able to knock out. But the superdelegates for the Democrats, it's so unfair. So the biggest problem I have is that Bernie's not going to win. But I debate him anyway if they wanted to put up money for charity. So we'll see. We've actually had a couple of calls from the networks already, and we'll see. Well, he's the one that suggested let's debate.
Jeff Weaver said his team has been having conversations with your team.
It's true. I'd love to debate Bernie. But they have to pay a lot of money for it. Because, look, I'm in first place. I've won, I'd say something over $10 million.
If you raise $10 million, you'll get on a debate stage.
I would love to, yeah. I would love to. I've loved debating. And I mean, I know you people never write this, but every single poll, on every single debate, the online polls, Drudge and Time Magazine and all of them, I've won every single debate. I didn't know I was going to do that. I've never debated. Politicians are all talk, no action. I created jobs and businesses and did great. But I've never debated professionally. I ran against all these people. They debated professionally. But according to every single online poll after the debates, I've won every single debate by every single poll. So I don't mind debating. I'd like to debate. I've actually, the one thing was I said to myself, I wonder how well I'll debate. Because guys like this great gentleman right over here is one of the great oilmen of the world. We're not debaters. We're people that put people to work and do things and a lot of good things. How many people do you have working for you?
Counting contractors, tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. That's what he does. Now, I'd rather debate Harold, but I will tell you, he may surprise you. He may do very well. But we don't do that. But somehow it worked out well for me. It worked out well for me. So I actually love the debating process. Had a lot of fun. I was on center stage for every single debate. And the only time I was upset with some of the networks was when we had even numbers, like 8. That means you had 2 in the middle. So I always insisted on having odd numbers. Go ahead.
What role do you think the federal government should have on regulating energy now that you're here with petroleum companies?
I think the federal government should get out of the way. The federal government is in the way. We have so much potential energy that people wouldn't even believe it. In fact, my speech today is on energy. It's exactly what it was and is. The federal government, the regulations that they have, they put the coal miners out of business. The coal mines are shut. What they've done to the coal, what Hillary Clinton, she's worse than Obama. She actually openly said, I want to put the coal miners out of business. I want to put the coal mines out of business. Essentially, she's saying, I want to put the steel mills out of business. We're not going to have any businesses left. So Hillary is, I can't imagine how she could possibly do well in a place like Pennsylvania. She certainly didn't do very well in West Virginia. And, I think she made a big mistake. And she's catering to certain people, but I think ultimately jobs and these incredible people, the miners, they're incredible people. I asked a couple of them, why don't you go into some different profession? They said, because we love going after coal. I'll never forget the answer. You think it's dangerous and you're going deep down into these incredible crevices. I say, wow. But they love doing what they do. That's what they do. It's like me. I grew up, my father was in real estate. I'm in real estate. And now I'm in politics. You wouldn't believe what happened. He's looking down saying, what happened? But with the coal miners, they love doing what they're doing. Hillary Clinton, and it's such an important product. Hillary Clinton should not be putting them out of business. I want to be energy independent, yes, absolutely. I want to be energy independent. And I haven't spoken to Harold about that, but I would say energy independence is what we all want. And we also want to sell our energy to other places that don't have the great natural resources that we have. Don't forget, through modern day technology, we found out that we're sitting on energy. I'm going to be talking about it in a minute, but that we're sitting on energy like nobody would believe. I want to be energy independent, and the answer is yes to your question.
Paul Ryan has still not endorsed you. What policy concessions are you willing to make in order to get his endorsement?
Well, we'll see what happens. We've had great conversations, and we'll see what happens.
Mr. Trump, do you still believe that, would you still want to ban all foreign Muslims from the United States on a temporary basis? Is that still your policy?
As of this moment, I am very unhappy. When I look at the world of radical Islam, I'm very unhappy with it. We're going to find a problem, and we're going to come up with a solution. Obama could never come up with a solution. Number one, he's incompetent. And number two, the solution just is never going to be out there for him. He won't even mention the words radical Islamic terrorism. I have many Muslim friends. They said to me, thank you. This is a problem. It's a problem that has to get solved. And we have to have turn-ins. When you see people that are looking to do tremendous destruction, like in California with the 14 people killed, they lived in a house where they had bombs all over the floor. Everybody knew that they were up to bad stuff. Nobody reported them. People have to report when they see. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Trump, you said multiple times that you would bring coal mining jobs back. And I work over in Wyoming.
Right, good. I know. I see it by far. I was very impressed.
One of the main factors those jobs are going away and the mines are closing is low natural gas prices.
True.
Poor decision making by coal companies.
And by government.
And also because of slowing international demand. So do you believe you have power as the president to actually bring those jobs?
I do, because I think ultimately coal will be very inexpensive, and you got to get rid of some of the regulations. I spoke to some of the mine owners, and they were surrounded by some of their miners, and they were showing me some of the regulations where it's on a daily basis going in, checking, and they have people that do nothing but deal with regulators, and it's out of control. It's gotten out of control. Well, the market forces are going to be whatever they are. You know, all I can do is free up the coal, which I'm going to totally do, get the companies back to work, market forces. That's something I don't want to get involved. That's to me, a market force is a beautiful force. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, speaking of the only Canadian press here, the Keystone XL problem caused great disruption between Canada and U.S. relations. Would you approve the Keystone XL project and you invite TransCanada to build it?
Yes, I would. Totally. It should be approved. Now, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be a better deal. See, Obama would approve it or not approve it, all right? Hillary is probably not going to approve it from what I understand. But I look at it differently. I will absolutely approve it 100%, but I want a better deal. Because, listen, here's the difference between Harold Hamm and myself and you, or, let's say, Obama, who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Here's the difference. I'm going to say, folks, we're going to let you build the pipeline, but give us a piece. We're going to have to use eminent domain. You know, remember when all the conservatives said, eminent domain, eminent domain? Well, their favorite project is the Keystone Pipeline. And if you read the documents on the Keystone Pipeline, a big section is devoted to eminent domain, because without eminent domain, that pipeline wouldn't go 10 feet. You understand that. I want the Keystone Pipeline, but the people of the United States should be given a piece, a significant piece of the profits. Right now, Obama would have said yes or no. And most politicians would say, yes, we'll approve it, or no, we won't. I'm saying, yes, we will absolutely approve it. I want it built. But I want a piece of the profits, because we're making it possible for it to happen through eminent domain and other things. I want a piece of the profits for the United States. That's how we're going to make our country rich again. Just one way out of thousands. But that's how we're going to make our country rich again, and it's how we're going to make America great again. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
TransCanada would like to build a pipeline from Williston and Ham to ship its oil through Saskatchewan.
This is a different pipeline?
Called the Upland Pipeline, 300,000 barrels a day. TransCanada will be.
Do you like the idea?
That's great.
No. Do you like the idea as a reporter? You're not supposed to say this, but that's okay. Do you like the idea? Huh? We would look at it. Look, I'm going to look at anything. You know, a lot of times pipelines are so much better, because instead of going on trains and having all of the problems caused by that, that's underground, and environmentally they're better in many cases. But we're going to take a look at it.
The difference is that this pipeline would allow Mr. Ham to export oil through Canada, into Canada, also overseas to the port.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of that one, but we would certainly take a look at it. And I will tell you, my basic bias would be to approve. I want to approve for jobs, and the concept of pipelines is okay if they're going from the right place to the right place. Okay? So we'll take a look at it.
A local small business magazine. So for Main Street small chambers of commerce across America, what are the keys to economic vitality?
Well, I'll tell you two of them that are very, very important are lower taxes. We're the highest taxed nation in the world by far, lower taxes. And the other one is we're overregulated. And I will tell you, I made a speech last night in front of a group, and I said regulation, and this surprised me, really surprised me. I've seen it ever since I've been doing this for like 10 months or so. And regulation is even more of a problem for people than the taxes, which surprised me. But they're both problems. So we're going to lower, under my plan, we're lowering taxes very substantially, as you know, for businesses, for middle income, for everybody. So taxes are going way down. We're going to allow trillions of dollars to pour into the country that are right now outside of this country, where people and companies want to bring it in, they can. And we're going to get rid of the tremendous numbers of rules, regulations, probably 75% of which are absolutely terrible for our country. Okay. Who? Pocahontas? Pocahontas? Well, no, she's. Look. She is. Is it offensive? You tell me. Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Pocahontas? Is that what you said? Elizabeth Warren? She is. No. She tweets a lot about me. Every once in a while, I'll tweet. And when I tweet, not that many people are watching her tweets. When I tweet, they watch. I will say this. Look, she is a senator that's highly overrated. She's passed very little legislation. She has been a real disaster for a lot of people, including the Democrats, who frankly can't stand her, many of the Democrats. Just ask Hillary Clinton how she likes her. And I would say this. I'll debate anybody. I don't care. I'd debate her. But she's done very little for Massachusetts. And the beautiful thing is when I won Massachusetts, with many people running against me, I got up to almost 50%. And she was fighting me. So I really think if her record was exposed, and the fact that she was a Native American, she said she was Native American, but she wasn't able to document it. She said, well, I have high cheekbones. You see, I have high cheekbones, so I'm a Native American. And she then, I don't know if you'd call it a fraud or not, but she was able to get into various schools because of the fact she applied as a Native American and probably able to get other things. I think she's as Native American as I am, okay? That I will tell you. But she's a woman that's been very ineffective, other than she's got a big mouth. Okay, yeah, go ahead in the back. Sure.
You said that you were debating with Senator Sanders and you raised the issue of raising money for women's health issues. I'm wondering, is that the particular charities that you would like to...
I would like to go women's health issues. We've raised a lot of money. In fact, on Tuesday, we're going to be releasing a tremendous list of all of the money we've given, with the debate, when I decided that I wanted to do this instead of go to a particular debate with a cable network that actually has been unbelievably fair over the last few months, I have to say. But I felt I wasn't treated right. I did a speech, and during the speech I said, let's see if we can raise some money for the vets. So we raised a lot of money. On Tuesday, I think we're going to have a press conference in Trump Tower, Tuesday at probably 10 or 11 o'clock, and we're going to release a full list of all of the people. Almost $6 million worth of money was raised. Now, when I started that, I said we weren't going to raise anything. It was just an idea that came to me. And I said, you know what, let's raise some money for the vets. And one of my friends who was there, very substantial person, Phil Ruffin, offered $1 million. Carl Icahn gave $500,000. Somebody else, another good friend of mine, Stuart Roy, I believe he gave $1 million. And all of a sudden we started getting a lot of money. And I love seeing it. And on Tuesday, we're going to release a list of all of the different veterans groups. They got the money pretty close to $6 million worth of money. And that was great. And what I do, if we did this debate, I'd like to do something similar where they'll pay this. In this case, it'll be just a payment by the networks. I mean, why should the networks have a debate like this, make a fortune, sell it to sponsors, and put the money in their coffers? I would much rather give, and probably in this case to various groups involved with women's health issues. I think it's appropriate. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Now that you have hit the magic number of 1237,
I'm so honored.
that is really...
I'm so honored to be in North Dakota and having hit that. I'm so honored by these people. They had such great sense. Right?
Now
Thank you.
set the sights on being president.
Well, I'll have many things to do. Number one, I'll be unwinding various executive orders, and I'll be unwinding executive orders in particular having to do with the border, where people are pouring into our country that aren't supposed to be here, and we'll be unwinding that. We'll have a lot of things to do. We're going to start rebuilding our military. We have no choice. We have no choice. It's not like, oh, gee, do you want to do it? We're going to make our military bigger, better, stronger than ever before. I saw the other day, actually on CNN, but where the jet fighters were using parts from museums and graveyards, plane graveyards, where they're taking old parts for our fighters, for F-16s. And they were interviewing some of the pilots. These are great people. And they were saying they're so embarrassed and so ashamed of what's going on. This shouldn't be the United States. So we're going to rebuild our military. We're going to have the finest equipment in the world again. And nobody's going to mess with us. Very simple. And by the way, I'm the last person in terms of the draw. I won't have to worry about the draw. I'm the last person. I didn't want to go into Iraq, unlike Hillary and other people. And we shouldn't have gone into Iraq. Iraq was a mistake. And then the way Obama got us out was a tremendous mistake. So we're going to have a lot of fun that first 100 days. We're going to start the process of making America great again. Okay, how about a couple of more? Yeah, go ahead. Well, we're building our campaign staff. I mean, one of the reasons I made a deal with the RNC, which to me is, I think Reince has done a really good job. But, you know, they build over years and years staffs in every state. You can't do that, or you can't do it very well if you're doing it all over the next few months. So now I just learned I got the nomination. And again, this was something that was going to happen, according to some people, in August, and some people were saying because of the second convention, which would have been ridiculous. And many people said it was going to go into the July. And then we had that massive victory in Indiana. I won't forget the people of Indiana. Believe me, that was a massive, massive victory. And, you know, so here I'm sitting. So I'm watching. I love watching Hillary and Bernie go at it. In fact, Bernie's given me some great lines, which I'm using, believe me. But I will say that as far as building the infrastructure of a campaign, the RNC's been doing it for many years. Reince has really upped it, and all over the country they have very good people. And part of the benefit is we get to use those people. And while I'm raising a lot of money for them, and they're going to use that not only for me, they're going to use that also for other people running for office, it's really been an honor because I've met some of the people in different states. I met a big group of people last night from different states that work essentially for the RNC. And you can't do that over a period of, you know, just a short while because, you know, we have November's coming up very rapidly. It's going to be very soon. And they are set up with some really great infrastructure. Okay, how about one or two more? And we're finished. Well, a question was asked about Vince Foster, and it was asked of me. What do you think of Vince Foster? I really know nothing about the Vince Foster situation. Haven't known anything about it. And somebody asked me the question the other day, and I said that. A lot of people are very skeptical as to what happened and how he died. I know nothing about it. I don't think it's something that, frankly, really, unless some evidence to the contrary of what I've seen comes up, I don't think it's something that should really be part of the campaign. But again, if you people reveal something to me, I'll answer it the appropriate way. Okay, one more. Yeah?
Here in North Dakota, fracking is on the forefront of everyone's
Right.
mind. Bernie said he would ban fracking completely. Hillary said higher regulation. How would you deal with
Well, Bernie is going to ban fracking. Hillary is going to ban fracking. Hillary is going to abolish the Second Amendment, okay, just in case you have any questions. She's going to abolish your right to own guns. She's going to abolish the Second Amendment. And I'm exactly the opposite. And I got the endorsement the other day from the NRA, which was a great endorsement and a great honor for me because they are great, amazing people. I'm a member of the NRA. My sons are members of the NRA. But they want to absolutely knock out fracking. And you do that, you're going to be back into the Middle East, and we're going to be begging for oil again. It's not going to happen, not with me. We're going to open it up. We're going to be energy independent. We're going to have all sorts of energy. We're going to have everything you can think of, including solar. And I know a lot about solar. The problem with solar is it's very expensive. It doesn't really, you know, when you have a 30-year payback, that's not exactly the greatest thing in the world. But I know a lot about solar, and I've gone solar on occasion, but it's a very, very expensive thing. Wind is very expensive. I mean, wind is, without subsidy, wind doesn't work. You need massive subsidies for wind. And there are places maybe for wind, but if you go to various places in California, wind is killing all of the eagles. You know, if you shoot an eagle or you kill an eagle, they want to put you in jail for 5 years. And yet the windmills are killing hundreds and hundreds of eagles. One of the most beautiful, one of the most treasured birds, and they're killing them by the hundreds and nothing happens. So wind is, you know, it's a problem. Plus it's very, very expensive and it doesn't work without subsidy. So, but despite that, I am into all types of energy. And by the way, while we're in North Dakota, I have to say this. I love the farmers, and the farmers are incredible. We have to remember, this was largely a farm state, and they produce tremendous crops of tremendous different goods, of which I eat a lot of them. And I just want to pay my respects to the farmers of North Dakota, because they have done a great job. All right, one more. Go ahead. Well, we're going to look at that, and we're going to meet actually with the governor of Iowa, who's a tremendous guy and a friend of mine, and we're going to talk about it. A lot of people want that to happen. We will be making a decision fairly soon. Okay?
Given the low volume of crude oil exported since the ban and regulations were lifted by the federal government recently,
right,
what would you do to increase and stimulate growth in those volumes?
Well, that's going to really be up. I'm going to open it up so they can sell, but that will be up to people like Harold. If he wants to sell to other places, I'm not going to help him. Nobody can sell like him. But now I would open it up, and I would keep it open, get rid of the regulations, and people like Harold Hamm and you know, people that I know that are really competent, super competent, believe me. And we will make so much money from that, from energy, because we're blessed with something, and you'll hear some numbers in a little while. We will make so much money that we will start to pay down our $19 trillion in debt. And we'll start to lower taxes, and we'll start to take care of our Social Security and our Medicare. But we're going to open it up. Okay. Thank you all very much. David, go ahead, David. He wrote a couple of good stories about me, so I have to let him do it. He wrote a couple of bad ones, though, too. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Now that a couple of women have taken issue with the way they were portrayed in a recent sort of major...
Yeah, I was so honored by that. Yeah.
Do you think you're done answering...
Front page, and they quoted 3 women and another woman. Many of the women have come forward and say, we have great respect for Donald Trump. We really like Donald Trump. That's not what we said. That's not how it was portrayed. And they actually said this was going to be a wonderful piece. And the New York Times has been totally discredited. And the construction person, I just presented many, many emails, and I think I sent them to you, David, and I did send them to you, many, many emails where she's asking for a job back, because after she was gone, I never took her back. She wanted her job back. And she wrote a book in which she says the nicest things about me. And she wrote me letters saying, you are the least sexist person. You are not a sexist. I don't even know why she mentioned it. Anybody that would mention that in a letter, it's a little bit strange because nobody accused me of it. But she writes me a letter. But she wrote many emails asking for her job back. She's been totally discredited. So the New York Times story has been totally discredited. The New York Times, I can tell you from personal knowledge, is very, very embarrassed. It was a total hit job in Donald Trump. And to put a story like that above the fold with a massive picture of myself standing with Miss Universe contestants, or maybe Miss USA contestants, who, you know, which I owned, which I sold recently to IMG. I sold the pageants to IMG. Good deal, by the way. But for them to put a story like that above the fold in the New York Times, I can tell you they are very ashamed of that story. And for the women to come out, Roanne as an example, to come out and be brave and say, that is not, who would do that? It was so nice. And I did not speak to her when she did this. And I just spoke to her more recently, and I thanked her because it took courage to do that. And for her and others to come out and go forward and say, you really, really mistreated us by writing the story the way you wrote it. And we have great respect for Donald Trump and like Donald Trump very much. The New York Times was totally discredited. And honestly, they should be ashamed of themselves. So it's been a great event for me. I hated reading the story, even though this was not, you know, major allegations of very much stuff, as you understand. One of them accused me of saying, don't eat that candy. In fact, a friend of mine called up and said, it's not too serious. But you know what? They made it like it was such a big violation. Don't eat that candy. So I sent it to you, and I appreciated the story that you wrote about it, because the New York Times has been totally discredited, and I will tell you, they are very embarrassed by that story. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Well, just a talented person. I mean, and he's been there for a long time, pretty much right from the beginning. Come here, get over here. Get over here. No, been there right from the beginning, right?
I was one of the first. Well, you've changed my life. I guess if you're one of the first 7 or 8 members of Congress to endorse somebody, your life gets changed. Mine's been changed. But I'm glad you're here. Appreciate Harold's invitation. Appreciate your comments on energy. And I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it.
Are you missing any votes today, Jeff?
I missed voting for the Energy and Water Appropriations Bill that failed miserably. So I didn't miss a thing.
Thank you, everybody.
Speaker Ryan suggested that he's withholding his endorsement because he wants
Let's see what happens. Thank you, everybody.